Call this meeting to order. Roll call. Council at-large Spear. Here. Council Ward number 1 Leeper. Here. Ward number 2 Anderson. Here. Ward number 3 McNeil. Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So now to the agenda. There are no additions to the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Boots with the first.
Second.
And Spear with the second.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
All right. So now to the unscheduled communications portion. If you do have an issue that you'd like to discuss with the City Council, please make your way to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Yep.
Larry Hodgson, 210 6th Street, Tipton. And come to talk to you about bicycling in Tipton. And yesterday we had a nice meeting with a small group of local bike enthusiasts who did some discussion about bike safety in Tipton primarily. We looked at an old plan which was devised way back in 2008 and presented, and some actual stuff that was done by the council way back in 2008. But the bike routes that are mapped out on here were never marked, and there was not much done with it to follow through. So this group that we're forming is going to try to follow through on stuff like that, try to promote bike safety, make it safe routes for our children to ride, where they don't have to be quite so concerned about traffic and cars and all of the other things. Another thing we've talked about doing is starting a bike shop. We were going to call it bike co-op, but it'll probably be called a bike repair shop. And we'll make available tools and expertise to do minor repairs of bicycles in Tipton. So if you have bicycles that need some work and you don't quite know how to fix it, some adjustments, or kids need something done with their bicycles, that space will become available. We've got space available at the First United Church. We've already talked to them about that. And there's several other things we can do as far as supporting biking in Tipton. That's our main goal, is to encourage bicycling for physical and mental well-being for the residents of Tipton. And so I just want to let you know what's happening with that. I'll keep bringing you up to date whenever anything else comes up.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yes.
In our current water bill, I'm sure we all received the 2016 water quality report. And I guess my question is, only 2 of those tests were done since we got rid of Alliance. And some of those tests actually were after 2013, which is 4 years ago. I guess I don't understand that. And thanks to Lisa, who sent me a copy of the load and weight restrictions and truck routes. As I talked recently about the huge farm equipment using Plum Street on a regular basis, gigantic, enormous stuff. Looking at this, I'm not sure that farm equipment would fall under truck routes. I have no idea if it does or not. I would hate to guess what some of that equipment weighs. My car alone weighs 4,600 pounds, which is a really heavy car, and I wouldn't want to know. But I think this is kind of interesting, so I'm going to read them real quick. These are the present truck routes, and this is Chapter 66, City Ordinance, if you want to look it up later. Cedar Street in its entirety, okay, we can understand that. South Street, which is at 36 in its entirety. 7th from Cedar Street to the east city limits, of course, that's 130. 9th Street from Cedar to the west city limits, going out of there is F28. 5th Street in its entirety. East Street in its entirety. Plum Street in its entirety. Lemon Street in its entirety. Inland Road in its entirety. Wow, that seems overbroad to me. And I guess the thing that bothers me the most is the fact that, as you all know, we tore out Plum Street 10 or so years ago down to the bedrock. We had no way to get to our houses except a little dirt road for way over a year. And then we're letting these people who don't live in town, don't pay city taxes, tear up our streets. And I simply do not understand it. It's not like they don't have a way out from up there north of town, because they do. There's a gravel road over to 38. I just wish somebody could get an answer on this. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, seeing there's no more unscheduled communications, we move on to the consent agenda, which can be approved with one motion, which are the city council minutes from May of 2017, the airport committee minutes from April 10th of 2017, and then the planning and zoning commission, which would be May 8th of 2017.
Mayor, I'd just like to note on the airport committee minutes, they have April 10th down there, but their meeting was actually April 20th.
Okay.
So that would be corrected.
All right, so with that correction, would there be a motion to approve this consent agenda? Anderson with the first, and Boots with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
All right, so now moving on to the ordinance approval and amendment, which is ordinance 558, which is the amending gas and electric utility rates for the city. This would be the first reading. Mr. Long?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, interim assistant city manager Tim Long. You have a draft ordinance of an amendment to the gas and electric rates for the city of Tipton, and this is the first reading. This is like any ordinance subject to 3 readings. But tonight I thought I would just go over the basis by which the rate structure has been addressed in this ordinance. That basis started with a thorough analysis the city undertook over a year ago when Latham Associates came and badgered staff and dug through records and spent a lot of time assessing 3 prior years' expenses and revenues from both electric and gas departments. So there's a great deal of background information that went into what it actually costs to deliver electricity or gas to any of the different classes of customers. And the rate structure that he proposed back then, we just didn't look to implement because there was enough else on the agenda. We set it off to consider it for a year. But the rate structure that Latham Associates proposes provides, I think, and in conversation with Floyd and Virgil, they also concur, provides an accurate assessment of what the cost of service will be. Within the packet, you'll see some comparison spreadsheets that look a lot like this. And I won't go over every single item, but the spreadsheet looks like this, and it shows the difference between the current billing procedure and rate structure versus what's proposed. And there is very little difference on the electric, and there's a slightly more difference in gas. And just to talk to the residential customers right here, on electric under the proposed rate structure, an average customer, residential customer in Tipton is 478 kilowatt hours per month. And under the current structure, someone would have an average monthly bill of $62.38. That drops slightly to $60.99 because the cost of the base charge goes up from $6 to $12.50. The cost per unit of electricity, the kilowatt hour, drops slightly. So what this example demonstrates is an effort to establish strong base fees so that in those situations where folks drastically reduce their electric consumption, or for the folks that have installed solar or other alternative energy sources for their home, there's still a revenue stream that comes into the electric utility department so you can pay your bills, so you can maintain the system and you can keep up and improve your infrastructure. But the actual cost of energy goes down. With gas, that is slightly the opposite. The average customer, residential customer in Tipton, burns 6,200 cubic feet of gas per month and has an average bill of $58.37. Under the proposed structure, that would rise slightly to $60.30, just shy of $2 a month. Again, the base rate has gone, this proposal has gone from $5 per month to $10. Same argument. In order to maintain the system, you need to maintain a predictable flow of revenue, and by raising it that $5 a month, you guarantee that that's going to come in sort of no matter what, and that provides for, again, infrastructure improvement, maintenance, and general looking over the whole system. It goes on to break down for different kinds of users. I won't belabor that tonight unless there are specific questions. And the ordinance itself has been laid out so that you can clearly see the difference, sort of class of user by class of user, from before to after. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that there's also a natural gas capital project and equipment charge fund that was established years back, and that's been amended so that that 3-cent charge is applied to delivery rates in the natural gas section, and that will be continued for all those gas rates. And this ordinance also recommends that the council look at least on a biannual basis on even numbered years, and I just put down even numbered years so that you always remember which year it is that you're going to look at. But it doesn't mean you can't look at it more frequently. It could be that a year from now, with a different look at the financials and your assessments, you can look at this any time. But I want to do it at least in writing, establish that there be a pattern where every couple of years you take a hard look and you look at what your ending balances are doing and how that looks compared to what the electric and gas markets are doing. That's my short form pitch. I'm open for questions. If there's any, I'd be glad to try to answer them. If not, I'll refer to Floyd or Virgil.
So since we're going to review that on even numbered years, does that do away with the 1% annual?
Yes, that would do away with the sort of reflexive, I'm glad you mentioned that sort of reflexive incremental change, which is certainly a good thing. And it's far better than not doing anything, but it's not as responsible as taking a hard look at the whole picture. And the one thing that you got from the process that Bob Latham conducted is this enormously complex but really effective set of spreadsheets that you can plug your variables into, and it will generate outcomes that you can see all the way down to what this means for that person with, the 478 kilowatt hour bill. So it's a much easier mechanism to look at how your departments are running and make sure that you're providing reliable service to your customers at the most responsible price and the lowest price possible while still maintaining the system. So that's open answer to your question. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you much. So then the second reading for this will be in 2 weeks at the next council meeting. All right, so now to the resolutions for approval, which the first one is a resolution naming the depositories for the city funds, which did you pass? Wait, what? Oh, sorry. Is there a motion to pass the first reading of that ordinance
So moved.
approval? Leaper was the first,
Second?
and Spear was the second.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All right, so the resolution naming the depositories for city funds. Melissa?
This is just a resolution that had expired in January, so we're just updating the terms of it and adding myself on.
All right, is there any questions for Melissa? It's giving her the authority to deposit money in the name of the city. A good thing. All right, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Boots with the first and Leaper with the second.
Leeper.
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Okay, the second one, which is a resolution to fix the dates for the public hearing on the sewer revenue loan and disbursement agreement. Brian?
This is a repeat of an item that was on your last agenda. We missed placing the public hearing notice in the paper. And so we're just asking you to set now a new public hearing for your next meeting.
All right, so that would be 2 weeks from now, the 19th of June. Is there a motion to approve this new date?
So second.
Leaper with the first and Anderson with the second.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
Okay, then that will be in 2 weeks. And now to the motion for approval, which the first one is the claims list. Any claims that need to be pulled out and discussed? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve this claims list?
So moved.
Spear with the first
Second.
and Leaper with the second.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
All right, then moving on to the second one, which is consideration of quotes for spraying around the Tipton City Park. Adam, there he is. Over there. All right, all right.
Hey everybody. Sorry, my entire is getting baseball practice. So, yeah, you have the quotes in front of you. We got two quotes from Grasshopper and from Chalice. Is there any questions about either one?
Pretty straightforward. All right, and said your suggestion would be Chalice, so I guess we would be approving the Chalice lawn care quote.
Got a question?
Oh. Yes,
What's the difference in prices?
it's about $300.
Okay. Standing up for my company, we use all liquid, so therefore it gets in the ground within a matter of an hour. He's using granular, if it don't rain. It's wasted. Some kid walks out there with a cut on their knee, gets it in their knee, gets a cut, gets infected, got a problem. Here again, I pay taxes, 3 properties in this town. We don't.
And depending on Chalice too, with Grasshopper, he did approach me as well as Chalice did. Chalice had come to my office and talked to me what we wanted. I both sent this broadleaf. That's what we came back. But with your quote, if you want to look at an itemized list of what Chalice did say, he would aerate all those facilities as well. And if anything comes back, he'd come back and spray for free. So that's another reason why I suggested the Chalice. I understand what Grasshopper's talking about. I totally do. But at the same time, we still flag off. Chalice made sure that he came up to me and said he'd work with me about that stuff as well. Grasshopper has before in the past when we've gone through him. He has sprayed and flagged as well. But I'm not saying anything bad about Dan at all. I'm just saying that's what my suggestion is.
All right.
So I respect both companies. I'm not saying one or the other. I never would say that. And saying my name, my position, I would never do that.
Right.
So,
And Chalice includes the aeration in his bid.
yes. Which I never asked that. He put that in there. So if you guys want to waive that, you can waive that too and be even less. So I'm saying I added both of them up. Dan just did broadly, and that's why I told both guys the exact same thing. Chalice, when he proposed that, he put that included in everything. And everything included aeration and everything, it would be still less than grass hopper.
Do you see a benefit in having him do the aeration?
Yeah.
All right. There's no more questions. Take vote on this. Now this would be to approve the quote from Chalice Lawn Care. So is there a motion to approve that?
I'll move to approve that.
Spear with the first,
Second.
and Boots with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Abstain.
Boots?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Adam. And then to the third item, which is the request for approval for the June dates. Where's the Steve? There he is. All right. Well, thank you for coming back, Mr. Sparrow.
Weather hasn't been so well for us, so our first bike night was the only one that we had. Outside entertainment, but I didn't hear anything of any complaints or anything. It seemed like everything went well. A group of people are just really looking for is to be able to sit outside and have a beverage out there. So I was asking for June 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Is your next meeting going to be July 3rd?
Well, it's still in June, but you're talking about.
I'm sorry, the meeting after that one.
That would be. Yes.
You are going to have no July.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be the first Monday, yeah.
I just, because I missed June 2nd, just wasn't even thinking about your meeting was after June 2nd, which is today. So obviously we didn't do anything June 2nd, which I had two very elderly guys who were my musicians, and they were happy to be in the air conditioning instead of outside on the sidewalk. So I'm asking permission for them 4 weeks to just block off again, just the parking area and the sidewalk. I don't know if anybody's seen how we did it. We put up 4 awnings, put a wood fence around, some tables and chairs out there, and we put the musician right against our wall along these stairs that are fenced in.
Yeah. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve Mr. Splarvel's?
Before we do this motion, can I would like to throw in July 29th. I wanted to do a full street block off street dance. And the only reason why I say this is because it's going to take a little bit more time to prepare. I actually have to have a contract with the band. And so I would ask to throw in a Saturday, July 29th with this motion to do the whole street. Just because if you don't want to approve the 29th, it's a lot of work to set this up. And I'd hate to get to July and then you deny it.
Wait, are we talking June dates or July?
We're talking, everything's June dates except for this Saturday, July 29th.
And
Just because it's a lot more.
To add the July 29th date in there.
Are you going to do other July dates?
Yes. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you don't want to approve a Saturday where I block the whole street off, it's a lot of work to line up the events that are going to happen throughout that day. You can't just get a full-size band at the last second. You got to kind of book them a couple months in ahead. And I hate to book somebody, sign a contract with them, and then you say, no, we don't want you to block off the whole street. That's why I'd like, with the June dates, I'd like to throw in the July 29th date also. Which I will be back in July for the other dates. It's just that one July 29th date.
Tipton PD is okay with all this, as long as you have security.
And you will. Okay.
So the June dates are just that partial thing along the
Yes.
sidewalk? Okay, the only street closure is July 29th.
Correct.
You don't have any time.
All right. So, is there any more questions for Steve? Seeing there's none, one, is there a motion to approve the June dates and then the added July 29th date?
May I please add the suggestion that for the July 29th date, that's conditioned on the security requirements.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. All right. So with the added conditional security requirements, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Boots with the first,
I'll second.
and Spear with the second.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sparvo. All right, the next one, which is the quotes to purchase thermal imaging camera for the fire department. Fire chief's not here. All right.
Well, on this item, he took 3 quotes. The low one is from Sandry Fire Supply in DeWitt. That had a total of $8,214. We also included a page from his budget where he intends to take it out of, and it shows that he has enough funding to cover that expense.
All right.
Brian, what is it exactly that we're purchasing?
Thermal imaging camera. It allows them to, in one example, see people even when there's heat around them.
And that can go in any vehicle.
That I don't know.
It's portable. Most of them are portable. Are they not? Most of them portable?
The ones like the electric department has, it's a handheld unit, and the way that I understood it from Brian was Scott, was that it was going to be another handheld unit that the firefighters could use
It's like
inside
the
the
one we
building.
used to use, see people had
Yeah,
heat
you can
problems.
see the hot spots, you can see
Yeah.
people. There were some other things, because I was asking about where they were getting theirs from, because I know we need to update ours.
Don't they already have one? Evidently, it's not working
That I
properly,
couldn't tell you if they
whatever.
have one already.
It's out of date.
Huh?
It's, as I understand, it's out of date and not serviceable.
Wasn't working properly when they used it last, okay? Caused problems.
Well, no, I think what the thing is like, you can't upgrade the software anymore. A
It's
lot
like
of that-
everything else gets
Yeah,
out of date.
it's planned obsolescence. So, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so is there a motion one way or the other, or
So moved.
to approve purchase?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Leeper and Mr. Anderson with the second.
Leeper.
Yes.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
All right, the next one, which is the fire department request to park an antique fire truck on the city green space on August 5th during the fireman's pancake.
Why not? Let people see it. So moved.
All right, well, are there any other discussions or questions on it? No? Mr. Leeper has made the motion to approve this request,
I'll second.
and Spear with the second.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear. Leeper.
Yes.
All right, so now moving to the closing off the driveway drop off this box for the chalk the walk for our officers.
Hello. We're going to do this event again this year where we chalk the walk for our officers. And it's going to be from 9 to 11, and this is like a safety. If we could just block that driveway.
Yeah, 'cause you said we did this last year.
We sure did,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Boots with the first and Anderson with the second.
Boots.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Spear.
Yes.
Leeper.
Yes.
All right, so then the next one, which is barricade for a part of a street for Mark the Park.
And I am going to invite our guest, Abby. She came up with this idea, which I think is absolutely wonderful. I like it when our youth comes to us and has an idea for an event. So I'm going to let Abby talk to you for a moment.
I created the idea of Mark the Park. It's like Talk the Walk in Mount Vernon, but I figured it'd be a cool idea to have it like up the park road. And I was gonna ask if we could barricade the bottom, I don't know what direction.
There's a driveway, the driveway to the, yeah, you know.
Like the
yeah,
entrance
yeah.
at the bottom to halfway. And if there's more people that come, just in case, if we could have like a little extra spot in,
We
you know,
could leave that
August
back.
19th. And
And
You're
we
talking
also
mainly
have
the part in front of the pool area. Is that it, or am I?
down the road a little bit too. And they did talk to Adam about this. I asked Abby and her father, Chris, to talk
Yeah,
to
basically it's from Plum Street, after you pass like the gravel park, that area up halfway up the hill to the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Basically that part. Sorry, Abby, jump on your toes.
And it'd be like 8 a.m. to 4, and the judging would be at 4 o'clock, so it'd probably be cleaned up and ended by 6, 7 o'clock. We probably need electricity for the DJ. You guys got
I
that?
would work with her with that.
I don't know much about the DJ.
We'll handle it.
Got more information here, but I don't know if it's all important.
So it'd be August 19th from 8 to 4, and we take the barricades down at that time. I would be in contact with Steve Nash to get those up. And I just thought this was a great idea.
Yeah, it is. Any other questions for Abby or Linda?
I make a motion to approve.
Boots with the first to approve,
I'll second.
and Spear with the second.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
Great.
All right, thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Ed.
And now to the mounting of a light on the Ragbri bike in the green space.
Right. Well, as you know, we've been working on this project for a while, and several people from the community had come. They wanted that bike out again. So thanks to Floyd and Steve, they've helped me with a little bit of this, and then Larry has been on board helping as well. Tanya got me the numbers to get lights mounted on the bike. And I do have money in a line item in my budget to get that done. And the cement cost, and of course we would have Riverstone. I also, I think I mentioned this a while back, talked to Mike Pelzer because of insurance and liability. And I'll just remind everyone what he said. He says this actually is no different than park equipment. And so he was not concerned about it. The bike would be mounted up too, and it's huge, you know, the bike is huge. But this is a project that I think would be a real nice staple in our community, and it would be mounted in the green space. Eventually we want to get a mural on that wall as well that we can kind of coordinate. So when we have people going up and down Highway 38, they're going to remember and maybe want to stop and eat and shop here. So my request is that I have permission to order those lights, that we get permission to get the bike mounted safely, and we just get our staple again.
All right. Any questions for Linda? All right, then is there a motion to approve this?
So,
Well, Anderson with the first and Spear with the second.
you got it.
Spear?
Yes.
Leeper?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for working on that.
Yes, it's been a pleasure, really. And we'll need some of Dean's expertise with this as well. And one last thing, and then I can leave you.
Which is the waive permit registration fees for the
Yes.
golf carts used
Yes.
on the 4th of July.
Right. And so, just as we did last year, actually Pam helped with this part of the project for the 4th of July. Normally, the golf carts have to have their permit. And so we're going to be getting golf carts from the country club. And they don't have permits, but we have city officials that we're going to need to have golf carts. And let me tell you, last year it really came in handy. It saved a lot of footsteps. And so I'm requesting again this year that we waive that registration fee just for that day.
All right, is there a motion, motion to approve this?
So moved.
Spear with the first,
Second.
and Leeper with the second.
Leeper?
Yes.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks
very
very
much.
Yeah, Linda. Now to the consideration of the gifting of the canine in Cedar County and receiving for that gift. Chief Gepper?
It's all written out on the agenda information. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
So if we give this to the sheriff's office, are they going to be charging us to use it?
Nope. It's all through a 28E agreement, which while we had the dog in our possession, we had 28E agreements with the sheriff's department and all the surrounding towns and Mount Vernon and some that were just on the outskirts. Lisbon, I think. So we would still have access to Bullet, and she can still be called out. We would not be charged for the time that she gets called out to help us.
And the car, is that just gonna, the stuff that's in it, are they getting that, or is it just gonna go with?
Not in the car. The things that go with the dog are pretty dog specific. I can tell you, I didn't have the list at the time. She has her ballistic vest that's fitted to her. There's drug boxes that are used for training and demos where the narcotics are gotten from the DEA, and it's a whole licensing procedure. And so the drug boxes, we wouldn't resell those, A, we couldn't. So they have to reapply if they make use of the same box and jars. It's a dog e-collar. Her leads, she's got 3 different leads. The bite suit that's used in training and demos. The bite sleeve, there's actually 2 different bite sleeves. 2 harnesses, collar, the bowls that are used in the car that don't spill. They're actually kind of cool. They kind of move with the car. A weighted sled harness used in training for strength training and different things like that. She has her dog bowl. For the winter time, it's heated dog bowl during the cold months. A corner fan for the dog kennel. There's a cement pad at the handler's house that's a requirement for canines. And then the duffel bag that has all of her stuff. It's her luggage. So that's the equipment that's going with it.
And that 5,000, does that pretty much cover anything we have to put in?
Mostly, yes, because I wrote a lot of grants. To get the dog initially from Canines for Cops, I wrote a huge grant and we received that. We did not get a grant for the training of the handler. But we used him for almost 4 years, 3 to 4 years as a dog handler. To rehandle the dog, meaning we would keep the dog and have to retrain somebody else, would take probably 6 to 8 weeks where we would pay their salary and where they stayed and lodging, food, transportation, and also cover shift. So this is actually kind of a win-win because we still get the use of the dog. She'll be out in the county now. Our liability insurance will go down some. I spoke with Mike Pelzer last week, and he didn't have an exact number for me, but he said that that would also go down. Okay, so we still have use of her. We will not be required to pay the 8 hours of comp time every month because the handler keeps the dog at his house. So that's also done. So $5,000 is a nice sum.
Still a little bittersweet. It's always tough to see another officer go to county.
It is. So we can always pay the officer.
Not that they don't deserve it.
Just saying.
So then what does happen with the car?
The car is the city's.
Okay.
I know at one time somebody talked about having it as a city car. It has a new engine in it. They take the police decals off of it and use it as a city vehicle.
So with the purchase of the new city car or police car, then we were gonna fit the one that's being replaced for the dog. So now that'll just be an extra part of the city too.
I would like to keep it in the police department. Per code, police chief is supposed to have a car. I don't necessarily need a take-home car, but when a car goes down, if we have engine problems or tires fixed or it goes down, we then get down to one vehicle. And we have reserve officers that put a lot of volunteer time in, and if we had another vehicle, we have more coverage. So I'd like to keep that in the fleet, and then the K-9 car could be used as a city car, or the city could sell it. The Explorer would be much better use for the city police department, water, snow, ice, all that.
Would the county not consider buying that car since, to save them from having to buy one for the dog?
I tried. I really tried. I tried to sell it to them. They wanted to have an Explorer, and they have the 3 officers that they're replacing right now because of retirement and movement. They have Explorers, and they would like to keep Explorers.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried, Ross.
That's okay. Just wondering.
No, it's a good thought.
All right, so is there a motion to approve this?
I will so move.
Spear with first and Anderson with the second.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so then there is the last motion for approval is the proposed route for the No One Fights Alone 5K to be held on July 4th.
Hello, my name's Steve Agney. I'm with the Knights of Columbus, Father Bend Council. This is our, I'm not sure if it's our 5th or 6th annual No One Fights Alone run. We're a bunch of old guys and we got lousy memories. It'll be exactly the same route we had last year. Thank you, Amy, for finding the map because I couldn't find mine. So it stays on, doesn't cross any major highways, any major streets. Worked out well last year. We have a couple of recipients locally that are a couple of young kids that have medical problems that were completely unexpected. So it's a good cause.
Any questions?
I think Amy has the map and it works out well.
Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Lieber with the first
I'll second.
and Boots with the second.
Boots?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Lieber?
Yes.
All right.
And the council is welcome to run it.
All right, so now to the discussion items.
Yeah.
We have one tonight, which is a proposal from Tim Ryan, suggesting to allow chickens in town.
I'd like to say I'm a member of the Father Eugene Bendon Council. My memory's bad, but I'm not old. Thank you for having me this evening. My interest in chickens has started with my sister. She lives out in Des Moines, and their family got some laying chickens, laying hens about 3.5 years ago, and they've had them they live right in town in Des Moines, and they've had great success, and it's been a fun family activity for them. So I just wanted to, I'd like to see the city entertain, of actually having an ordinance that allows for chickens. I want to give you a few of the benefits that I've come across. The obvious benefit is the eggs from the chickens. They're an excellent protein source. Chickens eat insects, eliminating some of the need for pesticides and chemicals. They also eat table scraps, reducing waste to the landfills and wear and tear on the garbage truck. Chicken manure is awesome for your garden. They can be as pets and companions for some. They're a lesson in self-sustainability that we can teach our children. I know my kids don't get a lot of farm. They don't get a lot of farm experience because of being in town, so they're missing out on a little bit that I got as I was growing up. It's a relatively small startup. The expense is minimal, so it allows people, a good food source if they are on a budget. And I'm seeing that it is another revenue opportunity for the city. We would be joining several other communities. North Liberty, Des Moines, Davenport, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Dubuque, just to name a few. I came across an article over the weekend. Austin, Texas is actually, they have a zero waste initiative. Their goal is to have no waste going to landfills. and they're actually paying. They actually offer classes on how to raise chickens, and they're paying people to raise chickens to get the initiative off the ground. So what I found is North Liberty is actually online. They've got a great ordinance written up. It's got a lot of it's very well spelled out. I think with some common sense regulations. I mean, obviously you got to regulate because people don't always regulate themselves. But so I mean, I would suggest six female birds or less. Because if there's no roosters, you don't have the noise considerations. I would suggest that the chickens be in a coop, and the coops be backyard, and within most of the regulations I've read have give limits of how close or far from the property line, from the neighbor's front door, things like that. And every town that I've read about you have to have a permit, an annual permit. Commonly, is $25 permit. So it's not cost prohibitive, but it does two things: gives you guys a little bit of revenue, and also kind of let you know where they're at. So, in closing, the benefits of chicken far outweigh the negatives. I think that as pets or animals in town, they'd be less dangerous than a loose dog. I mean, there's certainly I got cats wandering around my neighborhood. A little nervous about the foxes I got running around my neighborhood right now, but I just think it's a great opportunity to be forward thinking and put forth the environmental aspects of our community.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Ryan?
I have a comment, a couple of questions. But I raised chickens once, and apparently I did it wrong because it cost me more in oyster shells and food than all the eggs I could have bought for a year. So apparently I was doing it wrong. But I guess my main concern, because I think you're right, there'd be a lot of regulating to this. Because not everybody's going to have the nice coop that you're probably going to have. What happens if you decide you want it and your two neighbors over here are opposed to it?
Well, in the north, again, the North Liberty regulations are the best that I've seen, and they're very well laid out, and that's a provision of their regulations.
You have to get permission from your neighbors.
Not so much permission as much as if there is a problem, the city has the authority to pull the plug in the operation. So
I've seen some of the ordinances in the past. I was part of looking at the ordinances used in Anamosa, Prairie City, and Port City. They do some things differently, but they do some things the same. They have increased setbacks off property lines, so in some cases, a smaller lot can't comply. They have an annual petition that you have to take around to surrounding neighbors and have to sign them off. I think it's every year. But I guess there are different things different towns do. I guess one of the things that Tipton would have to consider is who would be the enforcement of that.
I have a comment. I am old, but my brain is still functioning to a point. When I was 8 years old, we lived in the country and we raised chickens. And there is no smell on this earth worse than chicken manure unless it's hog manure. It stinks. It is not good for your garden. It will burn anything you put it on. It's too strong. And I wouldn't want to live next door to somebody that had a bunch of chickens in their backyard. Now, my neighbor's got a big backyard. She got plenty of room to have a bunch of chickens, but I'd want her to move if she put them in. And I don't want to move. I've moved enough in my life, and I don't want to smell chicken manure in this town. That's the way I feel.
All right.
Do you think that'll be a problem if they just have maybe 6 as max?
For 80 days, I buy them. They're cheap.
From what I've read, if you're keeping up with the maintenance, cleaning the kennels, and that's all also, you know, in the regulations. I mean, it's just common sense stuff. I mean, if you don't clean your dog kennel, the dog kennel stinks, and, you know, I mean, I would agree. I'm not suggesting that we have 30 is the max you can have in one, actually, which is crazy. But I mean, I'm talking 4 to 6. You know, a small operation, just
When you're talking about the permit, Tim, is that a yearly $25 or, oh, okay. So then
I
if
think
it's-
it varies from town to town, but the ones that I've seen has been annual fee.
I'm scared of them. Tom always said they're called chickens for a reason. I said, I don't care.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
All right, thank you.
Something to think about.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Tim.
All right, so now moving on to the reports from the council manager, department head. Mayor's report, I don't really have anything. Council reports? Nothing. Committee reports? City managers reports? Mr. Long?
I would just like to take an opportunity to recognize Tim Long for his service to the community as the interim city manager. He's been great to me, I have to tell you. In the transition period, he's been nothing but nice, nothing but helpful. He continues to offer his help if we have a question after he leaves. So I think this town was lucky to have him for the time it did.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure. Really has been.
Speech.
I'll leave it at that.
So that's the department heads, which is the specs for council approved bids for police vehicle and electric department vehicles. If either one of you, anybody want to talk on that?
I think these are just minutes information.
Oh, okay, so just
The
information.
only thing I'll mention is that the electric department vehicle, there's some things on there that not what we wanted.
Okay. And secondly, there's a FAA letter in your packets as well for May 22nd. Is there anything else on that? Mr. Wagner, do you know of?
No, we're still getting documents in for the airport project.
All right, so seeing that we've made it to the end of this agenda, is there a motion to adjourn? Boots with the first and Spear with the second?
Anderson?
Yes.
Spear?
Yes.
Greenberg?
Yes.
Luce? Yes.
All right, so this meeting is adjourned.